Hi, my name is Mart van der Hoek, and this is going to be my tutorial on how to run a game dev team consistently. And these are the things I've learned being a Look developer slash project lead for a small indie team. Important to note, my name is Mart van der Hoek, I already said it. I'm an artist, I'm an idea guy, and for this particular project, I was project lead. So, who is this tutorial meant for? Well, it's basically meant for designers that are looking like third and fourth year students that are looking to become project lead or take a more leading role and don't know how to do it. Trust me, I've been there. It is also for indie teams that are starting a new project and need to learn how to collaborate, communicate, and work long term, structure their project so they can work more sustainable and do a better job. So, this is a weird slide, I will admit, but this tutorial is meant for projects that are just starting. It will take about 3 days to get that start going. After that, there are also general tips that can be used as a guideline for the entirety of a project, because this process repeats itself. I think I'm just gonna, answer the question: what decisions do you make during a project? Especially as someone in a leading role. What decisions do you make? Because you don't want to hound all the decisions, leave nothing to the rest of your team, but you also don't want to be a passive observer. You have to make actual decisions. So, why am I doing this? Well, I've been where you are currently. I've been a third year, fourth year student, had no clue what they were doing. So, I wanted to know stuff like, how do I work with more sustainability? How do I not get a burnout every fucking project? I didn't mean to swear. But okay. And also how to get your idea made. I come up with a lot of ideas that are worked into projects, but usually they do not get made. So how do I come up with how do you make sure that your concept gets made into an actual final product? And finally, I'm disorganized as hell. So this is important to me. How do you become more organized throughout an entire project? So how do we do this? You start with a meeting on the first day. This is day one. Um, you have to know each other's skill sets. What engine are we gonna make this game in, or like what is your specific type of designing like? You got to know each other's interests, see where they align. If you have a group that is assigned, it is important to know where you all agree on. Then it is important to establish project goals. Usually, when you start a project, each individual member is trying to achieve something for themselves. So it's important to know that so you can all work to achieve your individual goals. Um, Afterwards, inspirations and ideas that they might already have. Um, it's important to already put that down. Write it down, put it on a big word web or mood board. Whatever works. Usually, I pick Miro. Miro is a fantastic program, and definitely make a Miro board. And there you can grab images, also write text, and just create this one big board where you can all discuss certain things. These individual answers will then be categorized depending on what role for each role in the team. So if you bring a lot of art to the table, put it into a visual section, or if there's like a distinction in art, put it in a technical art and a concept art and a character art section, all that kind of thing. You can do this for everything. Um, Now, welcome to day two. You had a day to sleep on it. You're gonna look at the board again. Maybe there's new ideas in your head. Remove the things that you as a team can agree on. This isn't exactly what we're looking for, right? You don't need an entire concept, believe, but it is important to know what we're going to work towards. So if there's some things that one person might really like, it might also be like, oh, just put it there because, remove it. Don't keep it. Um, After that, it's important to create a Moscow list with the things that remain. Categorize which things people find somewhat important into a must, should, could, and wish. You know what a Moscow list is. You're a third year student. If not, there are excellent sources. You can Google it and you'll find out right away. So, after you've done that, the second half of the second day is going to be research. Look at what everyone's saying should be in the game, and look at the things that are on the mood board and what are being used, the things that are most people are excited about. And if you don't know what that is, go play it, go watch it. If it's a movie, watch it. If it's a book, read a review of it. Do immediately take action. Then you show up to day 3 with somewhat of a research paper, and you start your damn project. It's easy as that. You got to make something in a limited amount of time. It is important to start as quickly as possible. Um, I you We will skip a bit of the design and research process because to me it is um, a growing thing. It shifts and changes all the time, but it is important to establish a minimum viable product as fast as possible. So, grab the musts of your project and turn them into something that represents a minimum viable project. Write them more verbosely. What do you mean with these musts? And then, um, what is it? Whoops. Then turn that into, you know, a playtest. How you're going to playtest this, digitally or on paper, doesn't matter. It has to have all these musts, all this minimum viable project. Just try to cram it all in there, and then after you have sprinted and made a playtest within 2 weeks, I will not go over that. You are a third year or fourth year student, you know how to make a playtest. Set a deadline for in 2 weeks. I usually do it on a Friday, and playtest. Try and find it if you have not selected a target audience yet. After this playtest, it might be time to think of what is our playtest audience. Should we reframe some of these musts? Do we put like um, a too much emphasis on this one, or should we focus on something else next week or next test? And maybe in the start of the project, the answers are no. But I said start. You're gonna do this a lot more. You're gonna do it again. You're gonna take 2 weeks. You're gonna build upon the previous thing, expand and create something out of every playtest. You gotta get some more and more and more information. Are our must still correct? Is what works, what doesn't work? Do we finally have a target audience? Is this something we can research? It is important to get all this out of the way. Um, and then finally, if you've done this enough times, you will end with a product um, that you're happy with, something that incorporates all the musts that you already established from the beginning, and these can change, but they must be incorporated. Something that has a target audience, and also, something that um, is easier to make. Trying to shorten it into these smaller goals. So now is the question, since we're almost at the end, how do you survive day to day as a project lead, or as a team, um, especially with a lot of these deadlines. Usually every day I tend to write down almost everything people are saying, usually on a whiteboard. Draw problems they're facing, think of solutions by drawing them as well. I talk to my team 3 times a day. We have a stand up. We have after lunch, we talk as well about how it's going. And at the ending of a day on the stand down, you ask, how did it go? Is there something we need to focus on for tomorrow? Write that down. You know the drill. Um, and also, it is important to not struggle alone. If you are facing a problem, it is always handy to just scoot your chair to the nearest person and ask, like, hey, I have this problem. Do you have any input or ideas? Do you have any feedback? It's it's that easy. um, and if they respond, immediately start drawing it. That's basically how you improve your day to day. For the long term tips on how to keep sustainability, um, problems will arise. I will not say that this will create a problemless pipeline that will go from A to the end. Um, all the way without ever facing any problems. It is important to, as you are facing these problems, to relate them to your discipline, your area of expertise. I'm not asking you to learn a completely new language because that's a problem you're facing. I'm asking you, like, okay, how do we, well, let's say it's a language issue. How do we reflect these gameplay decisions non-verbally, right? That's an artist thing to see. Talk to a designer about that. Involve as many people as possible. Make them aware that there is a problem. If you are aware of a problem, let that be known. You know, you don't immediately have to solve it, but write it down somewhere. Make sure that everyone knows, preferably an asset list or a bug fix list. But make sure that everyone knows that there's a problem, and if they have a solution to it, please come with it. And also, don't be afraid to make big changes. This might not seem like the most sustainable thing, but working on all the minute details for a very long time is not the essence of designing a game, of working on a project with a lot of people. It is about making the biggest changes. And especially when you're working from a 2 week prototype to prototype basis, you need to get as much stuff out there so there's a difference in each playtest. Um, and you gotta get all the musts up to the point that you want them to be. If you're working on shoulds, that's fine. That's fine. But if there is something lacking, it is sometimes necessary to make one huge change, which might influence the entire project forever. But you can either leave it or keep it for the next 2 weeks. So these are my changes, and this is my UP day. You made it to the end. Good luck applying this newfound knowledge on all your projects. And have fun out there. Goodbye.